Jiangyuan City, the terminal stop of Route 8 in the west side. Lu Pinggan, dressed in cheap street market clothes, stepped off the bus carrying a canvas bag. Before he could even stand still, the LED billboard ads flooded his view, oozing sophistication. Lu Pinggan sighed. In just 3 years, Jiangyuan had changed so much. Back then, those signs were just foam boards with printed graphics. Now, wait. When a stunningly beautiful face appeared on the LED screen, Lu Pinggan's body trembled, and the canvas bag slipped from his hand, hitting the ground silently. His heart sank to the bottom of the water right along with it. Because on that billboard was a glaring headline, a powerful union. Congratulations to billion-dollar CEO Mu Qingshui and Ling Xiao, president of Ling Xiao Group, on their marriage. Lu Pinggan sneered. 3 years ago, he and Mu Qingshui had founded Lumu Group. After getting the company on track, they'd held their wedding, but on that very wedding day, had gotten drunk, stumbled into the river, and vanished without a trace. It's only been 3 years and She's already this eager to marry someone else? Or maybe Shed already found a replacement back then. At that thought, Lu Pinggan clenched his fist and smashed it through the billboard. As stunned onlookers stared, he disappeared into the night. On the eastern outskirts, a shabby 3-room cottage sat in a lonely rundown yard. Under the persimmon tree by the gate, a gray-haired woman was sweeping the yard. Her back was bad, so she had to straighten up every few strokes, her gaze drifting to the gate as if she were waiting for someone. Each time she saw no one, her eyes filled with endless sorrow and loneliness. She straightened again, looked at the gate, and as she turned away, she thought she saw something. She looked up again, and there was a young man striding toward her.
Son?
Is that you? The broom clattered to the ground. She stood frozen, staring at the young man now in front of her, tears streaming down her wrinkled, grief-lined face. Mom, I'm home. I'm sorry. Lu Pinggan had reached his mother, and those few words were enough to make tears pour down his face. My boy, you're finally back. I knew you'd be okay. Through tear-blurred eyes, she touched his face, and only when she was sure it was really her son did she throw her arms around him and sob. Who's here? Lu Zhongguo heard the commotion, hobbled out with his cane, and froze when he saw Lu Pinggan. His mother quickly pulled her son over and pointed him out to her husband. Old man, it's Pinggan. Our Anan is back. Lu Pinggan walked up to Lu Zhongguo and dropped to his knees with a thud. So you finally decided to come back.
You remember you have a family?
Tears streamed down Lu Zhongguo's face, and he raised his cane to strike his son. The cane stopped 3 inches from Lu Pinggan's shoulder. Then it clattered to the ground. Lu Zhongguo collapsed onto Lu Pinggan, hugging him and sobbing. After they'd cried for a while, Lu Pinggan helped his parents up and told them about his miraculous survival after drowning. His parents listened, still shaken. If it hadn't been for that master, they might never have seen their son again.
Pinggan, you haven't eaten, have you?
Look at me. I'm getting forgetful. I'll go make you something right now. His mother suddenly remembered had just gotten off the train and hurried into the kitchen. Lu Pinggan nodded, tears glistening in his eyes, then turned to his father.
Dad, is your liver cancer terminal?
Lu Zhongguo was startled and shot a glare at his wife in the kitchen. Lu Pinggan smiled and grabbed his father's arm. It wasn't Mom who told me. I could tell when I helped you up just now. He settled his father into a chair and looked at him warmly.
Did you hear me?
I've learned some serious medical skills. Don't worry. By the time Mom finishes stir-frying a dish, I'll have your illness cured. Lu Pinggan immediately pulled out the 9 golden needles that his master had given him before leaving. With a wave of his hand, 9 golden needles shot out and precisely pierced into 9 vital acupoints on Lu Guozhong's body. A faint red glow emanated from Lu Pinggan's hands as he gently twisted the needles. Sweat quickly beaded on Mu Guozhong's forehead, and his body felt hot, as if he were being roasted over a furnace. A layer of black impurities seeped out of his pores along with the sweat. 5 minutes later, Lu Pinggan waved his hand to retrieve the needles, then looked at Lu Guozhong. Dad, you're all set.
Your liver is as good as it was when you were young.
Lu Guozhong stared at him in disbelief. That's it? It's still early. After we eat, I'll take you to the hospital for a checkup and show you whether your son's medical skills are up to par. Lu Guozhong nodded, his face beaming with joy. Whether it worked or not, even if he met the king of hell right now, he'd still be happy. His son was back, and his heart was at ease. During the meal, Lu Pinggan noticed his mother seemed hesitant to speak, so he joked, "Mom, are you trying to say something sappy but too embarrassed to say it?" Still acting like a kid, always cracking jokes. His mother scolded him with a smile, but then her expression turned serious. After a moment of hesitation, she said in a low voice, "Pinggan, find a chance to get the divorce settled." She had taken Lu Guozhong to the hospital for a checkup and had seen Qingshui there, getting a prenatal exam. Her son had been missing for 3 years, yet Qingshui was pregnant now. If Pinggan found out, he'd be devastated. But if they could finalize the divorce before Qingshui's belly started to show, it would minimize the hurt for him. Lu Pinggan paused mid-bite, but quickly resumed eating as if nothing was wrong. His mother couldn't bear to tell him the whole truth. "Qingshu is a good girl, but you two aren't meant for each other. We shouldn't hold her back. You're not getting any younger either. Find yourself an ordinary girl." Lu Pinggan kept his head down, eating. But inside, his heart ached. 8 years of feelings from high school through college, and the year after graduation, was it really over just like that? "Let's talk about it in a few days. Tomorrow. I'll take Dad to the hospital for a checkup first." Lu Pinggan finally replied after a long pause. His mother sighed and said no more. The next day, Lu Pinggan took Lu Guozhong straight to Jiangyuan City First Hospital. The x-rays were taken quickly, and sure enough, his liver was perfectly healthy. Lu Guozhong sat in the lobby, carefully reading the report twice before letting out a deep breath. He patted Lu Pinggan on the shoulder, his eyes full of pride. "Move aside, move aside."
Director Chen?
"Director Chen."
Come quick, look at our master.
Just then, a dozen men in black suits burst into the hospital, clearing the way and shouting. Behind them came a hospital bed carrying an elderly man. The old man's face was ashen, barely clinging to life. People scrambled to make a path, and the bed rushed straight into the lobby. Director Chen Feng, hearing the commotion, hurried down and examined the old man. His face turned grim, and he shook his head.
What do you mean?
A young man lunged forward, eyes red, grabbing Chen Feng by the collar.
How ran?
A woman in a professional suit, with a cold expression, quickly stopped the young man. She looked at Chen Feng. "Director Chen is my grandfather really, unless an immortal descends from heaven. Miss Ning, please accept my condolences. Needle the Baihui, Fengqi, Taiyang, Shuigu, Liek and Taichung points. He still has a chance to live." Before Chen Feng could finish, a voice rang out from the side, echoing loudly in the silent lobby. Everyone turned to look. A young man stood not far away, watching them. A black-suited bodyguard immediately stepped forward.
What did you say?
I said, "Do the acupuncture exactly as I told you, and he still has a chance to live." Lu Pinggan glanced at the old man on the bed. If we delay any longer, even the gods themselves couldn't save him. The burly man was furious and stepped forward to teach Lu Pinggan a lesson. Chen Feng had been the old man's personal physician for over a decade, and even he couldn't help. A young kid claiming there was still hope was a joke. He must be like those street charlatans out to swindle money. "Stop!" Just as the big man was about to strike, the cold, professional-looking woman behind him quickly called him off. She was about to speak when the old man on the bed suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and his breathing became undetectable. Everyone was shocked. Lu Pinggan looked at Chen Feng and shouted, his voice piercing, "Quick! Do exactly as I said." Bai Hui, Feng Qi Taiyang, Shui Gu, Liek, Taichung. Chen Feng glanced at the patient, then grabbed a set of silver needles from the medical kit nearby and inserted them into the acupoints Lu Pinggan had listed. As the 6 needles went in, Chen Feng yanked his hand back, suddenly realizing what he'd done. He had actually listened to a young nobody and stabbed needles in blindly. Even though the old man had only minutes to live, he wasn't dead yet. If he died from my reckless needling, it'd be on my head. But the moment the 6 needles were in place, the old man suddenly sat up, coughed up a stream of foul black blood, and collapsed back onto the bed. Old Master Ning has stopped breathing. Someone shouted in horror. The Ning family erupted in chaos. Chen Feng staggered and fell flat on his backside. A lifetime of medical reputation, gone in an instant. Several bodyguards leapt forward and pinned Lu Pingan down. The young man who had grabbed Chen Feng's collar rushed over and slammed a fist into Lu Pingan's nose. Blood immediately streamed from Lu Pingan's nostrils. "Don't hit my son. If you must hit someone, hit me. I'll pay with my life." Lu Guozhang rushed over and wrapped his arms around Lu Pingan. Lu Pingan held his father back, saying nothing, his eyes fixed on the man on the bed, no panic in them. When the old man had been wheeled in, Lu Pingan had already assessed his condition completely. There was no problem. "You killed my grandfather. You'll pay with your life." The young man, eyes red, was about to strike again when the supposedly dead old Master Ning suddenly coughed violently. His cut-off breath surged back, and his heart started beating again. Chen Feng, disheveled like a ghost, jumped up and rushed to examine him. In disbelief, he stammered, "Hess fine. Old Master Ning is fine. Old Master Ning is fine." The Ning family crowded around. The young man let go of Lu Pingan's collar to check as well. But Lu Pingan grabbed him and yanked him back, then slammed 2 punches right into his face. He wasn't the type to take a beating without fighting back. The young man's face was soon covered in blood. Lu Pingan shoved him to the ground, then took his father's hand and walked out of the hospital. The bodyguards frowned and moved to stop him, but the young man quickly called them off. He wiped the blood from his face and grinned at Lu Pingan's retreating back. "I like that attitude." He shouted after him, "Hey, my name's Ning Haran. I'll come find you again." Lu Pingan walked away without looking back, as if he hadn't heard. Ning Haran hurried to check on old Master Ning, who had come back from the dead. Chen Feng had already given the old man a thorough examination. His face was full of disbelief. "Has cured. Has really cured."
A miracle! This is a miracle!
Suddenly remembering something, Chen Feng pushed through the crowd to find Lu Pingan. The cold professional woman also snapped out of it and looked around, but Lu Pingan was already gone.
Doesn't that guy look like your ex-husband?
The maternity building stood across the road from the main hospital building. Mu Qingyao spotted the young man walking out of the hospital building and quickly called out to Mu Qingshui, who was about to get into the car. "You're seeing things. I told you to stop staring at your phone all day." Mu Qingshui pulled open the door of her Volvo and started to get in. Mu Qingyao grabbed her sister's arm, her voice urgent. "Thesis, it's him.
It's your husband?
And Uncle Lu Guozhang is there too?" Mu Qingshui scrambled out of the car and looked at the young man waiting by the hospital entrance. As she stared, tears began to stream down her face. She whispered, "It's him, it's him." She tried to run to him, but her legs suddenly felt so weak that she couldn't move. Mu Qingyao quickly steadied her and hurried toward Lu Pingan. Lu Pingan was hailing a taxi when he heard someone call his name. He turned around and froze. It was her, his ex-wife. Lu Guozhang also turned and saw the Mu sisters. He patted his son on the shoulder. "Go on." Lu Pingan walked toward them. His steps quickened, from a walk to a jog, then to a run. Mu Qingshui stood still, sobbing uncontrollably. If not for Mu Qingyao holding her up, she would have collapsed to the ground. Suddenly Lu Pingan slowed down. The urgency on his face vanished, replaced by a cold, icy indifference. His fists clenched involuntarily. He stopped in front of Mu Qingshui. She reached out to throw herself into his arms, tears blurring her vision. But he stepped back. She stumbled forward, losing her balance, and began to fall. Lu Pingan's hand twitched as if to catch her, but in the end, he let it fall to his side. He just watched, his gaze cold. Mu Qingyao, quick as ever, caught her sister and shot Lu Pingan a furious look.
What are you doing, brother-in-law?
Lu Pingan glanced at the pregnancy test report clutched in Mu Qingshui's hand. His eyesight was sharp. Head noticed it even as he was running over. And more than that, Head sensed another heartbeat inside her abdomen. She was pregnant. "Mrs. Mu, congratulations. Double happiness." Honey, Mu Qingshui didn't understand what Lu Pingan meant and tried to step forward again, but he moved back once more. Her heart clenched in pain. "Mrs. Mu, come tomorrow. Bring your marriage certificate to the Civil Affairs Bureau. I won't hold you up." With those words, he turned and walked away. Lu Pingan. "Stop right there." Mu Qingya couldn't hold back anymore. She rushed forward, grabbed his collar, yanked him back, and punched him square in the face. She was a martial arts school graduate, so her punch packed real force. The nosebleed head just started flowing again.
Yao yao yao.
Mu Qingshui cried out, quickly pulling her sister back. Seeing the blood on his face, her eyes filled with pain, and she moved to wipe it away. But he stepped back, a cold sneer curling his lips. Mrs. Mu lives up to her name. You hit people without a second thought. No need to play the caring role now. People like us aren't worth your effort. He wiped the blood from his face and turned to leave. Mu Qingshui ran after him and threw her arms around him. His body stiffened for a moment, then his face turned cold. With a sharp shrug, he shook her off, walked over to his father and helped him into a waiting taxi. Honey, Lu Pingan sat back in the car, watching in the rearview mirror as she scrambled up from the ground and ran after them. He gestured to the driver, then closed his eyes. The taxi sped away. Mu Qingshui's heart bled as she collapsed to the ground. Mu Qingya quickly caught her devastated sister, tears streaming down her own face as she glared at the retreating car. Thesis, how could he be like this? You've given him so much, even trying to have his child, and he won't even look at you or say a word. I'm going to chase him down right now. If he doesn't give me a good reason, I'll cut him to pieces.
Yo, don't.
Your brother-in-law must have his reasons.
You're still defending him? Thesis, how can you be so foolish? Mu Qingshui just shook her head, tears pouring down her face. Her heart felt like it was being stabbed with a knife. Suddenly she clutched her lower abdomen, her face turning pale, cold sweat beading on her forehead. The alarmed Mu Qingya scooped her up and rushed into the hospital. In the taxi speeding toward the outskirts, Lu Pingan opened his eyes and said to the driver, "Stop here." The driver slowly pulled over. Lu Pingan turned to his father in the back seat. "Dad, you go on ahead. Take your time walking back." Lu Guozhong looked at him, nodded, and said nothing. Lu Pingan paid the fare, got out and watched the taxi speed away. Only when the car disappeared from sight did the emotions he'd been holding back finally break through. He walked to a secluded corner, closed his eyes, and let 2 tears slip down his cheeks. The image of Mu Qingshui's pitiful face was like a needle buried in his heart, impossible to pull out, each movement a sharp sting. And that pregnancy test, stark black on white, was like a knife that cut his heart clean in two. He didn't know how long he stood there. When he finally rose, the tears were gone, though his eyes were still red-rimmed. But his gaze was cold, deeply cold. He turned and strode toward home. The night was as dark as ink. Lu Pingan pulled out his phone and made a call. Half an hour later, a dark figure slipped into the small courtyard and knelt on one knee before him. Feng greets the young master. Lu Pingan's expression was icy.
Have you found out about my fall into the water that year?
Yes, young master.
Feng handed him a stack of documents and a tablet, his voice low. You didn't slip and fall because you were drunk. Someone pushed you in. The tablet has the surveillance footage from the riverside that night, and the documents contain everyone's information. Lu Pingan's brow furrowed deeply. He had always felt something was off about that incident, and now it was confirmed someone had deliberately tried to harm him. He tapped open the video on the tablet. In it, a group of people were gathered around him, a flower pinned to his chest, standing by the river. One of them suddenly lifted a foot and kicked him straight into the water. As he splashed down, the others didn't rush to help, they just stood there, howling with laughter. Because the video was shot from the opposite bank, every face was clearly visible. Lu Pingan picked up the file beside him and, matching the faces to names from memory, identified each person. When he saw the name of the one who had kicked him, rage and murderous intent surged in his eyes. Ling Xiao. His once best friend. Suddenly, the news of Mu Qingshui and Ling Xiao's wedding flashed through his mind. The last shred of guilt and tenderness in his eyes was severed, replaced by endless coldness and ice. The adulterous pair. So you two were in cahoots all along. His fists clenched so hard his nails dug into his palms, and his eyes burned as if they would spit fire. Feng felt the sudden chill radiating from Lu Pingan, shivered, and his own eyes glinted with cold steel. Young master, I'll have my men take them all out right now. No. This is my grudge, and I'll settle it myself. Lu Pingan stared at the brightly lit Zhangyuan city in the distance, his gaze burning with icy fire. Meanwhile, in a luxurious villa, Ling Xiao, handsome but with a cold, venomous look in his eyes, shot up from his seat, glaring at the man reporting before him, fury blazing in his face.
What did you say?
Mu Qingshui is pregnant? And it's Lu Pingyan's kid. The trembling subordinate bowed low. It's been confirmed by the first hospital and the sperm bank.
Smash!
Ling Xiao hurled a glass to the floor, his face twisted like a raging beast. Mu Qingshui, you slut. I've trusted you again and again, and you still went behind my back to preserve a dead man's seed, cuckolding me in disguise. Is a dead man worth more to you than me?
Fine, you forced my hand.
Since you see me as less than a corpse, tonight it'll make you wish you were dead. The thought that for 3 years had been patient, never even touching her finger, made his eyes blaze with fury. Get the car ready. To Yipin B1. The subordinate nodded and withdrew. Ling Xiao clenched his fists, his eyes flickering with a chilling, predatory malice like a viper stalking its prey. At Yipin Bun, a Volvo pulled up. Mu Qingyao got out, hurriedly opened the rear door, and helped Mu Qingshui out. Suddenly, shush shush shush, a dozen men burst from the shadows, surrounding the two women. Both were startled. Mu Qingyao quickly shielded Mu Qingshui behind her, glaring at Ling Xiao's personal bodyguards. Chen Biao, what the hell do you think you're doing? Chen Biao smiled coldly, saying nothing, and stepped aside. Ling Xiao strode out from the group, his eyes fixed on Mu Qingshui with venom. Where are you two off to in the middle of the night, Mu?
What we do is none of your business.
Mu Qingyao shot back. Ling Xiao scoffed. None of my business, or are you afraid to say? Mu Qingshui, did you think I wouldn't find out you've been secretly preserving that dead man's seed? Both Mu Qingshui and Mu Qingyao froze. They'd been so careful, yet had discovered it anyway. Mu Qingshui, when Lu Pingyan was alive, I accepted that you put him above me. But now he's dead, am I still not good enough for you? For 3 years, I've given you everything. You wouldn't let me touch you, fine. But you went behind my back to have a child with a dead man?
What do you take me for? A fool?
Mu Qingshui stared at the furious Ling Xiao, her own expression turning cold. Ling Xiao, I never promised you anything. Our marriage was forced on me by you. And besides, even if it killed me, I would never let the man who murdered my husband touch me.
Ha ha ha!
Ling Xiao laughed loudly, looking at Mu Qingshui.
So you did know I killed Lu Pingyan?
Since you know, I won't hide it anymore.
So what if I killed him?
So what if I kicked him into the water? Mu Qingshui, did you really think I'd be friends with some country bumpkin like him? Everything I did was to get you.
You.
Mu Qingshui had already suspected Lu Pingyan was framed, but hearing Ling Xiao admit it outright still shook her. A surge of hatred and grief overwhelmed her, and she lunged forward to hit him. Ling Xiao snorted coldly, grabbing her wrist, a cruel smile curling at his lips.
So eager.
Don't worry, I don't mind. I'll marry you, and I'll make your life a living hell. Starting tonight, let my sister go, you animal. Mu Qingyao's eyes went red, and she charged at Ling Xiao. Chen Biao, who had been watching her from behind Ling Xiao, stepped forward and clashed with her. Ling Xiao glanced at the tall, striking Mu Qingyao, his lips curling in a cold smirk. Don't worry, I won't let you off either. Tonight, I'll make sure both sisters have a memorable time. Get her. The dozen men behind him surged toward Mu Qingyao. Ling Xiao dragged Mu Qingshui toward the car. She couldn't break free and shouted desperately, Qingyao, run. Get out of here. Mu Qingyao was skilled, but she was still a woman, and Chen Biao, a former bodyguard, pushed her back step by step. Seeing the dozen men closing in, and her sister being dragged into the car, 2 desperate tears finally fell from her eyes. This is, wait for me. Mu Qingyao yelled to Mu Qingshui, then vaulted over several cars and sprinted out of the underground parking garage.
After her.
Chen Biao barked, jumping into a car. 3 vehicles roared out in pursuit. Don't come back.
Leave Jiangdu.
Mu Qingshui screamed after her sister's retreating figure. Ling Xiao gave a cold snort. You think she can get away? Mu Qingshui, you forced my hand. You can't escape, and neither will your sister. On the street, Mu Qingyao had barely exited the garage when 3 SUVs burst out, closing in from 3 directions. She vaulted over a railing and sprinted toward a taxi parked at the curb. Anyone who helps her dies. Anyone who helps me catch her gets 100,000 from Ling Group. Chen Biao's voice rang out behind her. The taxi drivers slammed their doors shut. A few bolder ones, seeing the 3 speeding SUVs indeed belonged to Ling Group, started their engines and moved to block Mu Qingyao. She gritted her teeth.
Was there really no way out today?
She scanned the area and spotted a delivery motorcycle parked nearby. Mu Qingyao sprinted toward it. A taxi driver caught on to her intention and raced forward to cut her off. She leaped, planted a foot on the taxi's hood, vaulted over it, swung onto the motorcycle, and shot off down the sidewalk. Under the night sky, 3 SUVs and several taxis tore down the road, constantly trying to box in the motorcycle weaving through the bike lane. Like a pack of wolves hunting a rabbit, Mu Qingyao held the handlebar with one hand, frantically making calls. But once the people on the other end heard it was Ling Xiao, those so-called loyal friends hung up on her instantly. The last call was cut off and Mu Qingyao lowered her phone, staring at the endless intersection as tears of despair welled up in her eyes. All these years, she and her sister had built the Lumu Group into a powerhouse. To others, they were billion-dollar CEOs, but who could understand the bitterness and tears behind it all? Everyone was just coveting their beauty. A sudden screech of brakes. At the intersection ahead, an SUV skidded sideways, blocking the non-motorized lane. Startled, Mu Qingyao looked back and saw 2 more SUVs charging into the bike lane, cutting off any escape. Completely hopeless. She stopped the motorcycle and pulled a concealed dagger from her bag. Chen Bao and his men got out of the SUVs and lunged toward her. Mu Qingyao gripped the dagger tightly, scanning her surroundings for any chance to fight back. She knew escape was impossible today, but she wasn't about to give up until the very last second. That's when she realized the area looked familiar. She glanced at the bus stop sign nearby Kingshui Village, East City. Her brother-in-law's home? Suddenly thinking of Lu Pinggan, she didn't hesitate. She vaulted over the railing, dashed through the median, and sprinted into the alleys of Kingshui Village. Seeing her desperate attempt to fight on, Chen Biao sneered and led his men in pursuit. Mu Qingyao ran all the way to the familiar small courtyard, where she saw a young man under the dim yellow street lamp, holding a box of items, about to toss it into a fire in front of him. She froze, her eyes fixed on the wedding photo sitting on top of the box. Lu Pinggan noticed her too, paused, then a cold sneer spread across his face.
What's the matter, CEO Mu?
Haven't had enough fun with your beating?
Mu Qingyao looked at the indifferent Lu Pinggan, then at the wedding photo, shaking her head as she backed away, tears streaming down her cheeks. You're not the Lu Pinggan I knew. You're not my brother-in-law. I don't have a brother-in-law like you. Lu Pinggan laughed coldly. You're right, I'm not your brother-in-law. And I don't have a wife who murdered her husband and has a heart of stone. Mu Qingyao was stunned. Rustling sounds came from the dark alleys as over a dozen figures emerged, encircling her. Mu Qingyao, you can't escape. Just give up? Chen Biao. The leader glanced at Lu Pinggan but focused his attention on Mu Qingyao. Mu Qingyao only stared at Lu Pinggan, tears pouring down like rain, her eyes blazing with fury. You heartless bastard. She suddenly screamed, raising her blade and charging at him. Lu Pinggan's eyes turned icy. He flicked his hand, and Mu Qingyao was sent flying backward, landing right at Chen Biao's feet. I don't know her, Lu Pinggan said coldly, not even looking at Chen Biao. Chen Biao hadn't seen Lu Pinggan's move clearly and just assumed head pushed her back. Without a second thought, he grabbed Mu Qingyao's arms and said to Lu Pinggan, come to Ling Group tomorrow and collect the 100,000. Lu Pinggan was taken aback. Ling Group, Mu Qingshui, and Ling Xiao already had a child. Why would Ling Group be after Mu Qingyao? She was Ling Xiao's sister-in-law. Lu Pinggan, you heartless bastard.
Why aren't you dead?
My sister worked her ass off to keep the Lumu Group going, just so the company would still have a Lu in it. She took so many pills and injections just to have your baby. In her room, by her pillow, there are wedding photos of you two. She cries herself to sleep every night, and now you're burning them. I never thought her sacrifice would end like this. Lu Pinggan, I hate you.
I hate you.
Lu Pinggan sneered. Mu Qingyao, you're quite the actress. But you're spouting nonsense. I only came back yesterday. Are you telling me that the 4-week pregnancy she has is mine? Stop the act. You knew I was back. You're afraid the truth will come out, so you're trying to kill me again, aren't you? Lu Pingyan stared coldly at Mu Qingyao, his lips curling in contempt. But Mu Qingyao's fury only burned brighter, mixed with despair.
Did you forget what you left at the sperm bank?
Lu Pingyan was jolted. At that moment Chen Biao also recognized Lu Pingyan. Surprised, a cold glint flashed in his eyes. He signaled to the 2 thugs beside him, who understood immediately. They lunged at Lu Pingyan, whipping out hidden blades and swinging them down. Lu Pingyan's mind was still reeling from Mu Qingyao's words, and he paid no attention to the 2 streaks of cold steel descending. Look out! Mu Qingyao screamed in alarm. As much as she wished Lu Pingyan dead, seeing him about to die, she couldn't bear it. As the blades were about to strike, Lu Pingyan finally snapped back to reality. He suddenly raised his hand and grabbed the blades. Everyone was stunned. Chen Biao's eyes flickered with a cold light, as if he could already see Lu Pingyan's hands being sliced off. Mu Qingyao closed her eyes, unable to watch, a wave of deep regret washing over her. She shouldn't have come looking for Lu Pingyan. Even if he was still the same Lu Pingyan, what good would it do? She'd just be throwing her life away. Bang! Bang! Before anyone could react, the 2 knife-wielding thugs were sent flying, crashing into the darkness without a sound. Lu Pingyan still held the blades in his hands, but they were now twisted and bent from his grip. Chen Biao's mind went blank. Before he could process what happened, a dark blur flashed before his eyes. His thugs screamed and flew backward like sacks of garbage. Some had their chests caved in, others had their necks snapped clean. Are you man or ghost? Chen Biao pointed at Lu Pingyan, terror filling his eyes. He had never seen anyone take out more than a dozen thugs in an instant. Lu Pingyan said nothing, walking toward Chen Biao. Panic-stricken, Chen Biao shoved Mu Qingyao in front of him, pressing a knife to her neck. Stay back, or I'll kill her. You think she can threaten me? Even if you didn't act, I would—
You think a little self-inflicted drama can fool me?
Lu Pingyan sneered, staring at Chen Biao like he was already dead, not slowing his steps. Don't come closer. Everything she said is true. Mu Qingshui never betrayed you. The baby in her belly is yours. That's why we came to grab her. Stay back or I'll kill your sister-in-law. Chen Biao backed away, dragging Mu Qingyao with him, shouting the truth in a desperate attempt to awaken Lu Pingyan's conscience, hoping Mu Qingyao could be used as leverage. Lu Pingyan's lips curled coldly. A glint of steel shot from between his fingers. Before Chen Biao could react, his wrist snapped with a crack, and the knife clattered to the ground. Almost simultaneously, Lu Pingyan closed the distance. Terrified, Chen Biao shoved Mu Qingyao toward Lu Pingyan and bolted into the alley. Lu Pingyan caught Mu Qingyao, his eyes icy as he watched Chen Biao flee. He kicked the fallen knife, sending it flying. A scream echoed from the dark alley, followed by the thud of a body hitting the ground. Mu Qingyao stared at the dozen or so thugs lying in the alley, shivering involuntarily, unable to believe her eyes. Yao Yao, where's Qingshui? Lu Pingyan asked urgently. Mu Qingyao snapped out of it, breaking free from his grasp, and slapped him hard across the face. Where my sister is, you don't need to know. Even if she died, I wouldn't tell you. You heartless bastard. My sister waited for you for 3 years, and this is how you repay her. You almost made her miscarry yesterday. Yao Yao, I am sorry. I didn't know, you didn't know. You and my sister were together for years. You know what kind of person she is, don't you? Mu Qingyao's voice was sharp and fierce. Weren't you going to kill me? Go ahead. Kill me. I'll go join my sister.
We owed you in our past lives.
Mu Qingya kicked and hit Lu Pingyan while crying. Lu Pingyan didn't resist, but when he heard that Mu Qingya was going to accompany Mu Qingshui, he was shocked and grabbed her. Qingya, tell me quickly, where's your sister?
What happened to her?
His eyes were red, and tears rolled down, filled with endless guilt. Mu Qingya looked at him, knowing that he had misunderstood her sister due to ignorance, but her heart still ached at the thought of his earlier ruthlessness. She was taken by Ling Xiao. I came out to find help, but no one would help us. The thought of her sister's situation tightened her chest, and tears fell.
Where?
Take me there. Seeing that Lu Pingyan truly cared about her sister, Mu Qingya's grief eased a bit, and worried for her sister's safety, she grabbed him and rushed into the alley. Running out, several off-road vehicles were still parked at the intersection. She jumped into one, started the engine and sped off toward Ling Zhao's villa. Inside the villa, Mu Qingshui was tied spread eagle to the bed. Ling Zhao, in a robe, leaned back in a chair by the French window, smoking. Thick smoke enveloped him, his expression unreadable, one hand holding a goblet of crystal-clear red wine. He downed the wine, picked up his phone, and called again, still no answer.
An hour, and they can't handle one woman?
Useless. He slammed the phone on the table, stood, and walked to the bed, licking his lips, his eyes filled with vengeful lust. I'll play with you first, and when your sister arrives, she can join in. He grabbed a wine bottle, ripped the tape off Mu Qingshu's mouth, forced her jaw open and poured wine down her throat. She struggled, wine spilling over her face and collar. Watching her choke and cough, his smile widened, but so did his anger. Mu Qingshui, you forced this. I gave you chances, but you didn't take them. Not even the gods can save you today. Stop resisting or it'll get worse.
He eyed her.
Her upper body was soaked, clothes clinging to her skin, outlining her body perfectly. His gaze burned and he lunged like a starving beast, tearing at her clothes. She fought, but it was useless, and 2 desperate tears slid from her eyes. A screech of brakes came from downstairs. The idiots are finally back. Ling Zhao sneered at her.
Your sister's here? Let's have fun together.
He got off the bed and headed for the door, but with a bang, the door shot in like a cannonball, slamming him to the floor. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Pingyan walked in, saw Mu Qingshui bound and drenched, and a wave of cold fury surged through him. Mu Qingya rushed in and ran to her sister. Lu Pingyan turned to Ling Zhao, who was on the ground. You bastard! Ling Zhao pointed at him, not recognizing him at first. 3 years and you don't recognize me, old friend? Lu Pingyan stood over him. Ling Zhao stared, then his eyes widened, his hand trembling. Lu Pingyan, you're alive? The one who should be dead is you. Lu Pingyan's cold aura exploded, and he stomped on Ling Zhao's chest, pinning him down. Ling Zhao gasped and spat out another mouthful of blood. Lu Pingyan turned his gaze to the Qingshui sisters. King Yao had already untied Qingshui's ropes. Qingshu had been forced to drink a lot, her vision blurry, but she still recognized Lu Pingyan. Tears streamed down her face, carrying endless grievance and longing. Lu Pingyan's eyes grew hot, and he said in a low voice, Yao, take your sister to the car and wait for me. King Yao acknowledged and helped Qingshui out of the room. Only Lu Pingyan and Ling Zhao remained. Ling Zhao looked at Lu Pingyan, fear gripping him, and immediately begged for mercy. Lu Pingyan sneered, stepped on Ling Zhao's ankle, and ground it hard. The flesh, blood, and bone of Ling Zhao's ankle were completely crushed. Ling Zhao let out a scream like a pig being slaughtered, but he couldn't pass out. The left foot was crushed, then the right, then both hands. With all 4 limbs crushed, Lu Pingyan's gaze shifted to Ling Zhao's groin. In his agony, Ling Zhao understood Lu Pingyan's intent and froze in terror. Before he could speak, Lu Pingyan kicked him right in the groin. Ling Zhao screamed with all his might, his cries echoing through the villa. Lu Pingyan coldly watched the dying dog like Ling Zhao on the floor, his eyes filled with nothing but indifference from start to finish. At that moment, Qing Yao, who had helped Qingshui into the car, rushed in. Seeing Ling Zhao lying there like a dead dog, barely breathing, she felt as if struck by lightning. It was over. Ling Zhao was the sole heir of the Ling family. Now the Ling family would never let them off. Do you have any idea what you've done? You just came back. Why are you looking for death again? Has Ling Zhao the only heir of the Ling family? You've crippled him. The Ling family won't spare us. Lu Pingyan gave a cold snort. Even if I hadn't acted with scum like him, do you think he'd just let it go? He dared to kill me once 3 years ago. Do you think he wouldn't do it again? His tone was icy, his murderous intent aimed at Ling Zhao on the ground. He stomped down hard on Ling Zhao's chest, shattering it. Ling Zhao's eyes bulged, filled with endless unwillingness and resentment, and he died.
What are you doing?
King Yao, who had been rendered speechless by Lu Pingyan's words, was startled. Seeing his action, she rushed to stop him, but it was too late. Staring at Ling Zhao's dead body on the floor, she was utterly despairing. In her fury, she raised her hand and slapped Lu Pinggan across the face. Ling Zhao is Ling Zhenghao's only son, the heir of the Ling family. Do you know who Ling Zhenghao is? The richest man in Jiangdu, built his fortune on the underworld. Do you have any idea what the consequences of this will be?
How's your sister?
Lu Pinggan asked. King Yao froze for a moment, looked at him, shook her head with a sigh, and quickly pulled him out of the villa. King Shu leaned against the car, letting the cold wind sober her up, her expression relaxing.
Sis, why did you get out of the car?
You should be resting inside. King Yao hurried over to support Qing Shui, whose legs were unsteady. I'm fine, Qing Shui said with a faint smile, turning to look at Lu Pinggan behind her. Lu Pinggan looked at Qing Shui, shivering with her arms wrapped around herself, and his heart clenched. He immediately took off his jacket and draped it over her. King Shui looked at him, tears flowing uncontrollably, as if the jacket had drained all her strength. Lu Pinggan quickly steadied her. I'm sorry, I didn't know. His lips trembled, his eyes full of nothing but heartache and guilt. King Shu could no longer hold it in and collapsed into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably. King Yao watched the two, wiped the corner of her eye, and urged, before the Ling family finds out, take my sister and leave now. I'll take the blame for what I did to Ling Xiao. I'll face the Ling family's wrath alone. Take my sister and go, leave Jiangdu, and never come back. King Shu was shocked, looking at Qing Yao. Ao Yao, what are you saying? King Yao gritted her teeth and looked at Lu Pinggan. He killed Ling Xiao. Ah! King Shu gasped, as if struck by lightning, staring at Lu Pinggan. Lu Pinggan was about to speak when Mu Qingshui suddenly swung her hand and slapped him across the face. The blow was weak, but she didn't hold back. She glared at him, her eyes cold as ice. Lu Pinggan, get lost.
Why did you even come back?
We're done. I'm pregnant with someone else's child.
What are you standing there for?
Get out of here.
She shoved him toward the car with all the strength she had left. Lu Pinggan didn't budge. He looked at her, and he understood her perfectly. She wasn't afraid of the Ling family's revenge. She was just trying to drive him away. His heart ached, as if it were being torn apart. He pulled her into his arms and murmured, I'm not leaving. I'll never leave again. No, you have to go. I don't want to see you. Mu Qingshui tried to push him away, but he held her tight, and she couldn't break free. Mu Qingyao watched them, growing anxious. Suddenly, she chopped the side of Mu Qingshua's neck with the edge of her hand. Mu Qingshu's head lolled to the side, and she passed out instantly. Tears streaming down her face, Mu Qingyao grabbed Lu Pinggan by the collar. Lu Pinggan, listen to me. Take my sister and leave right now. Don't come back. Take good care of her. If you don't, I'll haunt you even after I'm dead. Lu Pinggan fell silent, as he watched Mu Qingyao load Mu Qingshui into the car. The truth was, given his status and power, if he revealed himself, he could handle not just a minor family like the Ling family, but even 12 or hundreds of times more powerful. He wasn't afraid of them at all. He took a deep breath, about to explain everything to Mu Qingyao, when suddenly dozens of blinding headlights pierced the darkness outside. Tires screeched. Over a dozen cars came to a halt in front of the villa. Doors flew open, and a huge crowd of people poured out, at least 100 strong. Each one carried an iron bar or a steel pipe, their faces twisted with menace. The man at the front roared with fury, You think you can leave? You think you can get away? Like if you enjoy it, and comment for the next part.